In the glittering world of Hollywood, where lights shine bright and stars are often larger than life, there exists a figure whose charm and wit have captivated audiences worldwide. Born in the picturesque city of Vancouver, this individual grew up in a close-knit family with 3 older brothers, each shaping his life in a unique way. Despite his seemingly perfect upbringing, he harbored a secret battle with anxiety that would follow him through his career. From a young age, he possessed the uncanny ability to make people laugh, a talent that served him as a shield and sword against the uncertainties of life. As he ventured into the world of acting, his quick wit and boyish charm earned him roles in television and film, but true stardom seemed elusive. It wasn't until he donned the red suit of an unconventional superhero that his career truly skyrocketed. Filming the movie that would define his career, however, was far from the glamorous image portrayed on screen. He poured his heart and soul into the project, driven by a desire to bring justice to the character long neglected by Hollywood. The stakes were high, and the expectations immense. I never slept, or I was sleeping in a perfect right angle, just sitting straight. Constantly working at the same time, he later revealed. The anxiety of meeting these expectations began to consume him. By the time the film was in post-production, the frenzied anticipation of Comic-Con took hold, and he felt the pressure gnawing at him relentlessly. The expectations were eating me alive, he said. Amidst the whirlwind of filming, promotion, and endless public appearances, he realized that his mental health was on a precarious edge. He knew he needed to find ways to manage the pressure before it overwhelmed him. Drawing from the same determination that fueled his rise to fame, he sought solutions and to reclaim his well-being. First, he turned to physical fitness, which had always been a cornerstone of his life. Exercise became a daily ritual, a way to channel the anxiety into something positive. The endorphin rush of a good workout provided temporary reprieve from the constant stress, helping to clear his mind and restore his focus. Mindfulness meditations were also instrumental in his journey toward mental health. He learned to quit his racing thoughts through meditation, finding moments of peace amidst the chaos. These practices allowed him to center himself, to live in the present moment, rather than being consumed by the what-ifs of the future. He leaned on the strength of his support network. His family, particularly his wife, offered unwavering support and understanding. Their love and encouragement provided a safe haven, a reminder that he was more than just his on-screen persona. Opening up about his struggles with anxiety to the closest to him was a crucial step, breaking the isolation that often accompanies mental health issues. Therapy became another vital component in his strategy. Speaking with professionals helped him to navigate the complex emotions and pressures he faced. Through therapy, he learned coping mechanisms, gained insight into managing his anxiety, allowing him to approach his career with a healthier mindset. Despite the immense pressure, he never lost his sense of humor. Comedy had always been his refuge, and he continued to use it as a tool to cope with stress. His ability to laugh at himself and find humor in difficult situations became a powerful ally in the battle against anxiety. As the movie premiere became a worldwide sensation, his fears began to subside. He had faced his demons head-on and emerged stronger, both as an actor and as an individual. His journey was not without ongoing challenges, but he found a way to balance the demands of his career with his need for mental well-being. The actor we are speaking of is Ryan Reynolds. He has become a beacon of hope and empowerment, and his journey from a young actor grappling with deep anxiety to a global superstar overcoming immense pressure is a true powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit. Ryan's candid discussions about his struggles and strategies he used to overcome them inspire us to take control of our own mental health journeys. His story encourages us to seek help, embrace our passion, and find strength in our loved ones. Ryan Reynolds' legacy is one of resilience and courage. His ability to transform personal challenges into a source of strength is a lesson for us all. It reminds us that no matter how daunting our struggle may seem, we have the power within to overcome them. Let his life become a beacon of hope, a testament to the limitless potential of our spirit. As we reflect on his incredible journey, let us embrace the possibilities of a brighter future. Let us carry forward his legacy of resilience and courage, believing in our own potential to rise above our challenges and achieve greatness. In the spirit of Ryan Reynolds, let us face the future with hope, courage, and unyielding belief. Ryan Reynolds' story is not just about overcoming anxiety, but it's a triumph over adversity with grace and humor. His journey is a powerful reminder that the greatest battles can lead to our most profound achievements. Let his story inspire you to take control of your mental health, seek help when needed, and believe in your ability to create a brighter future. Welcome to the Mental Health Janitor. Welcome to Story Time with Sergeant Q. No. Welcome to the Mental Health Janitors, where we help you take control. What the heck am I doing?
Heck?
All right.
Welcome
to the Mental Health Janitors, where we help you take control. What? I'm done.
Welcome to the Mental Health Janitors, where we help you clean up the mess in your head. I am Doc Jess with my friend, as always,
Sergeant Q. Good to be here.
Today, we are really excited about the episode we have in store for you. A little different than last week when it was a little emotional and daunting, but good. Today is going to be a lot of laughter and a lot of growth and a lot of fun.
Man, well, this new format, we just haven't done it enough.
No,
yet,
yeah, it's
to where
fine.
my brain's like, what are we doing here? This story doesn't come first, it comes after.
Hold on. 52 weeks now of We're the Mental Health Janitors, where we help clean up the mess in your head and you don't have it down. What
but
were you trying to say?
I don't know, but it was out of context because I'm used to starting with that.
I know.
And now my brain's like, okay, that part we don't need. I'm already into story time. So it's like, wait, it's trying to like dig through the annals of time and be like, what do we do here?
The annals of time.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? I think our viewers can tell us which one needs the most help.
Vote now.
Are we going to do a blind react today or no?
Do we have a blind react, Casey? Or no?
That's all right. Oh, it's a laughter one. Let's just find a really funny one.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Steve. That's cute.
That one would go with.
I knew that was going to be good when it said what 2-year-old thinks animals sound like. I was like, okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. So those are funny. The 2-year-olds, what they think animals sound like. That's that creative mind we were talking about. If you heard last week's episode, that's what we were talking about. Mm-hmm. It's that alpha wave length that your brain operates in, that childlike imaginative state. Mm. That's a clean example of it right there.
That's cute.
So this episode is about laughter and fun and joy. So Jess, we in the military, we have what's called a dark sense of humor.
Yes, we
do.
We
laugh at inappropriate times, in inappropriate situations, at inappropriate stories. Why do we do that?
Psychologically?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Why do we do that?
I don't know. I do know. I just
gave it to you.
I do know. It's a trauma response.
Sure.
I know a lot of adolescents with really, really hard traumatic pasts that laugh at very inappropriate times because it's the only way their body knows how to express any emotion. But sure, lay it up for us. What psychologically, why do we laugh?
So here's what happens.
Okay.
Laughter, if there's a near-death experience or something really scary just happened, and as soon as the threat is gone, the body's automatic response is to get back into the parasympathetic state.
Okay.
And in order to do that, laughter brings you back to that state of mind where it releases that tension, it releases that stress, and it lets you get back into the rest and digest state. So laughter does that. So your body wants to go back to that state. And so it laughs, because if nobody got hurt, if it was just a near miss or like a mortar went off and it blew something up, but nobody was hurt, you laugh about it. And then you laugh about it later when you tell the story, because it's an automatic response to bring you back to that relaxed state of mind.
Yeah.
And so that's why we laugh at inappropriate times or inappropriate stories.
Yeah. And when we were talking in pre-show about laughter and how military, especially deployed military, really build that joyous laughter in what's the word I'm looking for? In inappropriate times, right? Another career that does the same thing as nurses.
Yes, I could see.
I have met many nurses who have inappropriate humor. I would assume for the same reason. So
yeah, it's a way that your body, number one, that you get back to that state, and then it gives everybody else permission to do the same when you make the inappropriate joke. So this is great when you're deployed or you're in that environment where it's necessary. Not so great when you're out to dinner and your wife's friend tells you about something traumatic that happened, and then you laugh because you're uncomfortable and you're trying to bring a relaxed state back to the conversation. So your body automatically responds with laughter. Not so great.
Yeah. I wonder who did that.
People look at you weird.
What's funny is now that I'm reflecting back on, Operation Restore Hope, when you get all these veterans and we go out and we build homes for the amount of laughing that goes on with this group of individuals is pretty high. And then I think a year later when I went to the Road Home program where I spent a month with these veterans, and we'd be in these like really intense, like if you watched our episode last week, that story, that was my index trauma, which means that was the story that I had to work on the narrative to really dissect how it just changed my whole life, right? In between sessions, there was me and this other guy who we just cracked jokes the whole time. And our group leader, who now is the president of that program, said, you two have a major humor response to trauma. And trying to regulate. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. And it's true. Yeah. And I think that's why God gave me my husband. If you guys know Billy Bergens, people think he's funny and they have no idea how funny he is so funny at home with the girls, with me. He's just a really funny guy all around. And that's probably why I'm still alive. Because I laugh. I laugh a lot with him. He's a funny guy. So laughter, it's good medicine for the soul. It
really is. And it's something that I've been doing my whole life. It's been part of my life since I was a young kid, watching stand-up comedians, and then in the military, just the jokes and also the pranks that we do on each other. Yeah. I was a master pranker, and I would do it. Now I understand why I did it.
Yeah.
Because it was to relieve that stress, that seriousness of the moment. I would do things because I thought it would be hilarious. And most times it was. Sometimes it was not, but most times it was hilarious. And I've pulled some amazing pranks. And if we have time at the end of the episode, I will share one amazing prank I did in the military.
I can't wait. No. Yeah. And we talked about it a few weeks ago. One of my adopted brothers who turned into it. I remember growing up, and him and all the boys that lived with us, they were all really funny. All of them. He's just the one who really made it in that career. But I can't imagine the amount of fulfillment he gets making people laugh for a living. And same thing with Ryan Reynolds. He's a funny guy. And it's probably just like healing through service. We get so much healing in ourselves when we serve others. There's probably a lot of healing that comes from making other people laugh as well. That would be interesting.
If you watch a lot of comedians, and when you watch them now, you're going to start to see this. A lot of the stories they tell come from
their own life,
some trauma or some bad things that happened, or some things that are uncomfortable that other people are like, "Ooh, what the heck?" And they they change the narrative of it. So when you start watching some of these comedians, you're going to start to see this now and be like, oh, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. So tell us today, do we have an advancement to talk about?
Yes. So I have a new Garmin watch. The other one I had was big and bulky like a regular watch. This one is so small. I love this thing. It lets me get all the biofeedback data that I really want. So when I exercise, a lot of times I'm trying to figure out my heart rate, my oxygen saturation, how many steps I took, how long it took me to scale, these different mountains that I'm climbing and running and all these different metrics. And that's what most people want out of their device. I want something a little different. So what this is also helping me do is understand what's happening in my body and what thoughts, feelings, and emotions are happening, because I'm tracking that when I'm looking at the biofeedback data. So something that has been plaguing me for a while, I've been on this fitness journey for about 3 or 4 months now, where I got stem cells in my knees, so I'm able to run and hike again, which has been incredible, absolutely incredible, game changer. So shout out to Dr. Hiller from Rainier Family Medicine, gave me those shots, life changer. I was having a problem. I would be working out, typically hiking or running, and I would start to push myself and then I'd throw up. I'm like, what is happening? Like every single time I started feeling nauseous, I'd feel a little faint and I'd puke. And then I'd be fine. I'd rally and I'd keep going. It's like, why is this always happening? So I went and saw my doctor. He said, everything's fine. You may be just overexerting yourself. So when you get to that point, don't push through it. Just slow down and stop. Well, I'm a Marine, so that's difficult for me to stop. Most people probably not, but for me, I'm an idiot. So I always continue.
I didn't say it. I was thinking it. I didn't say it.
So I push and push and push. Well, here's something that's awesome. I was hiking this weekend and I'm trying out the new watch and I'm just hiking. I'm like, see if I can hit my PR. And so I'm pushing. Mind you, I have not thrown up in like 4 or 5 weeks. Totally fine. But I'm listening to this podcast and they're talking about the fear response and how fear with these nightmares and night terrors, which is something that I deal with, night terrors. So I'm early in my hike. Like within the first 5 minutes, and I start feeling nauseous and I feel like I'm going to throw up. And I thought, wait a minute, what is happening? I have not overexerted myself. I've just started running. Why is this happening? It was the content that I was listening to.
Interesting.
Was evoking that fear inside of me and that anxiety. And that's why I felt nauseous, which is the exact same feeling that I had when I was working out really hard, and the adrenaline of the moment where I was exerting myself, and then the stress and the cortisol of trying to get up this really hard mountain. All those chemicals reminded my body of that fear.
Yeah.
And so that is why I believe that I was getting sick. It was because when those chemicals were entering my bloodstream, it was taking my body back to a trauma time of being under extreme stress, physically exerting myself in combat. And that was bringing me back to that mental state why I was getting sick. Because there was no physical, you guys were concerned. So Jess and Casey both are like, you need to go to see a doctor.
Pastor Jay.
It was like, you got to go see a cardiologist. There's something could be seriously wrong with you. And I'm like, oh man. So I did. I went and saw my doctor.
Yeah.
He says, no, man, you're good.
He found out there was something really wrong with him, but it wasn't here.
Yeah, it was.
Here.
It was.
Yeah.
It was when the chemicals from my brain hit my body, it made me sick because of a past trauma response. That's what this little thing taught me. I mean, it didn't teach me, but because I look at this data and then I'm self-reflective, very introspective in the moment.
Yeah,
I figured it out this weekend. I said, oh my gosh, that's why. So last week's episode, we talked about taking those thoughts captive, changing our thinking about it, having that anchor thought. And so that's what I'm going to create is I'm going to create an anchor thought. So when I start to feel those feelings, when that adrenaline and cortisol hits my bloodstream, when I'm pushing really hard doing exercise, I'm going to go back to that anchor thought and bring myself back down.
And one thing about that anchor thought that I learned from Mel Robbins in her podcast about this, or her teaching about this, is the anchor thought, if you can, in a perfect scenario, is having the anchor thought align with whatever you're overcoming. So if you're out hiking, having the anchor thought I'm excited for the view at the top, or
No. I'm excited because I'm training for this 6-day
there you go
hike
in Vietnam. Yeah, that's a cool anchor thought. Yeah.
That's what it'll be. So when I start to feel that feeling, automatically I'm going to, and not just think about it, but I'm actually going to envision what it's going to be like to be there.
Exactly.
What's it going to sound like? What's it going to smell like? What's it going to feel like? All of those thoughts, feelings, and emotions to overwhelm that sense of fear. Because that's what that is. That's anxiety is an overwhelming sense of fear or of death is what anxiety is.
Yeah.
And so I am going to combat that with the positive thoughts of Vietnam.
Yeah. Awesome. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. So that's the new tech. Now you said you have one of these.
I had the Garmin, the small one, and I really loved it because it was so small. I don't wear it in here because it buzzes a lot and it throws us off, but I have a Google Pixel watch now, which I love it too because I can get notifications and stuff, but I do prefer the smaller. Yeah. But mine does everything that does, I think.
Holly said that these are actually designed for women, these small ones. I don't care. I'm using it. I like the minimalist stuff. I don't want some.
I do too.
I have the big Garmin watch. It's massive. I can't stand it. It makes me crazy. I take it off all the time and then I don't use it because it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
So this, I don't even notice that I have it on. For me, game changer.
Hold on. You got the Samsung Galaxy S5 and the big Garmin. You tried both of those?
Yeah. I didn't like either one. This thing right here though is perfect.
Yeah, I do. I really like that small one, but I lost it.
Game changer. I don't even feel it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Cool.
50% of Americans say that they or a loved one have suffered from mental health crisis. Together, we can change all that. Introducing QActual, a revolutionary new peer-to-peer based mobile application. Personalized to fit your lifestyle, with pinpoint GPS location in times of emergency. Connecting you to your care provider. With QActual, we will move you forward. Download QActual now and visit QActual.com.
Well, we talk a lot about anxiety and fear on our podcast, obviously, because we are the mental health janitors and we help clean up the mess in your brain. And a lot of our messes are surrounded by anxiety. So we've talked a lot about different anxiety scriptures. And today we're going to talk about Isaiah 41:10, which says, "Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand." And I'm not sure where Ryan Reynolds stands with religion, but I know for me, as we've talked about Ryan Reynolds and how I can associate and relate to a lot of the things in his story, my hope has come from scriptures like that and knowing, I listened to an incredible, just 10 or 12 minute speech from Jordan Peterson just this morning about hope and his journey with religion and how he went from an atheist to a Christian. And maybe we should do a podcast on him one day, but
we could.
just diving into the psychological benefits of having hope in something like a savior is life-changing. So I'm always happy to share scriptures that have helped me.
Yeah, it's great because that hope of the future, we already know that hope is the number one catalyst for survival, according to Johns Hopkins University. So we know that. It's irrefutable. So when you have faith and hope in a savior, that this temporal world is not all there is, that you can put your trust and faith in something bigger and grander than you, that gives us hope for survival. And we talked in previous episodes about how the church as a whole did better during the COVID years than people who were not part of a religious body. And I'm not talking like the global church where people say, "Oh, I'm a Christian," but you ask them what church they go to and they, "Oh, I don't go to church." It's like, not that kind of Christian. I'm talking the people who are actively participating in a body of believers on a weekly basis. Those group of Christians did exceedingly well during the COVID years compared to any other demographic that they've ever studied when it came to gender, age, job, geography, demographic. It didn't matter what they studied. The only ones that did exceedingly well during COVID were the Christians who were actively involved in their faith.
Yeah.
Because it's that sense of hope.
Yep.
That hope is what helped them get through those really, really tough years. So I think it's fascinating, like I said, when science proves our scriptures are true.
Yeah.
Because it says, do not forsake the gathering of the brethren. So that means don't ignore going to church. If you're a Christian and you're not in church, you need to be. And if you think you don't need it, then you need to read the actual Bible, because it tells you right there that you need to be part of an active church.
It also says bear one another's burdens.
Yeah.
Confess your sins to one another, pray and be healed. Yeah, there's a ton of scripture that supports being in, and a lot. We could go down.
Talk about church hurt.
We can go down so many rabbit holes.
We did a whole episode on church hurt.
I know.
Right?
Well, it's Casey will find out which episode that is, and
link
we'll go
that
back
in.
to
Church hurt. We get it. We understand. I've been church hurt.
Yep.
Jess has been church hurt. It's totally fine. We get it. We understand there are some negative biases that happened there. Mm-hmm. But you can heal from that, as we share with you every week, and you can move forward and join a body of believers, knowing that one is not going to be perfect either. You're not going to find a perfect church, not on this side of heaven.
Nope.
So just know that, but there's still a lot of value being part of the church.
Yep.
And if you want more information, there's a great book called The Church is the Ark, written by Pastor Matt Kurtunis. Great book, help you understand that more on a fundamental level.
Yeah. Great. I'm really excited about our tool today.
Yes. Tell us, what is our tool?
Our tool today, and let me tell you why I'm excited, because all the things in the last 10 years that I have worked on that have been hard for my mental health growth, this is my last. And so I'm excited to talk about it today for a little bit, because it's going to help motivate me to set some small, reachable, attainable goals to get going on this last little part of my mental health growth that I know is going to be an incredible benefit to me. And that is exercise.
Oh, exercise. I thought it was going to be completing your book. Okay. No, really. I was waiting for the book pitch. Okay, we're talking about exercise.
No.
Not extra fries. Extra fries.
Right? What do they say? They say you can't outrun a bad diet. And so I learned how much my nutrition played in my mental health. And so I started working on that years ago. That's been a journey for me. And you guys, if any of you know my kids, they, in a loving way, poke fun that we only have healthy things in our house. So no kids like to come over, which is partly true as well. And I'm really excited to dive into this exercise tool. And let's talk a little bit about the benefits. So exercise increases endorphins and neurotransmitters.
So what's an endorphin? What's it do?
It's a hormone that is released in your body that makes you feel good.
Sure.
What is your explanation, Doc Aaron?
Endorphins are the chemical that's released, and it binds with the neurotransmitters. It's your natural painkiller.
Yes.
So your body releases this when you're in pain, but it will also release this when it anticipates pain coming. Yes. Some people call this the runner's high. So when you're running for a long period of time or you're working out really hard, your body will flood you with endorphins because it says, man, we've been running for a long time. Something must be chasing us to kill us and eat us. So it's going to release a bunch of endorphins, give us that runner's high, which is a natural painkiller. So if we were being eaten by a lion, we would feel good when we died.
There we go. Yes. Isn't that what I said? Pretty much. I'm just kidding. No. And a neurotransmitter is a chemical messenger in the brain and a nervous system that helps transmit signals from one nerve cell or neuron to another. These chemicals play a crucial role in regulating various functions, including mood, sleep, muscle movement, by either exciting or inhibiting the receiving neurons, thereby influencing how we feel, think, and behave.
Yes. How this works, your body releases a peptide. The peptide binds with the neurotransmitter of the endorphin, and then that is attached to a memory, and that can go into your memory bank, reminding you of, oh, yes, when I work out, it feels good. Now, here's the thing. Nobody wants to work out.
Nobody.
If you say you do, you're just lying to yourself and the rest of us. Nobody wants to work out.
Or they've worked out long enough to know the benefit, and so they're like, yes, I want to work out.
right? But nobody wants to start. They want the benefit at the end, but nobody wants to like take that first 10 steps of a run.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to really do that. Once you start doing it and you start getting a little bit of those endorphins, yes, you want to work out. And you can say, oh yeah, I want to work out. But when you're buckling your shoes on in the morning and it's cold and you're tired and your bed is calling you,
this is not helping me want to get to exercise, Aaron.
But once I get a quarter mile in,
I know.
I
know. It's just like,
you gotta do the thing. And then you get the motivation. This is part of the motivation. Yes. Because you're going to get the dopamine hit. Like, okay, I started, I'm moving, I've gotten the dopamine hit. I'm going to show this to my friends that I'm working out, serotonin, and then eventually endorphins. And those are awesome.
And you guys, if you follow anybody who has been successful, if you follow anybody or watch the lives of anybody who has gone through something hard, overcome it, and is now successful, that is the number one thing that they tell you have to do. Do things you don't want to do when you don't feel like it, because you're never going to feel like it.
That's right. You're just not.
So you can Google, give me 100 motivational speeches, and 99 of those motivational speeches are in the very beginning going to talk about do hard things. So
regularly. It's not like a one and done.
I'm not yelling at you guys.
Do it.
I'm yelling at myself. So I'm excited to get going on my exercise journey.
So what does this exercise journey look like?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Another thing I learned from Jordan Peterson that makes so much sense is he talks about aim low. We're taught in society, aim high, shoot for the stars, which is good in certain contexts. But on an everyday thing, he's like, to hell with that. Sorry. Aim low. So I am going to
start small.
Small.
I don't like the idea of aiming low. I think starting small achievable goals, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what he means. So, I do have a couple of injuries from my years playing rugby and Army. And for years, they told me the only kind of cardio that would really be good for me was swimming. And the second I get into a body of water, I'm like, oh, I love this, relax. So I'm never really going to push myself in a body of water. But I honestly think I'm going to start small with a daily goal of push-ups, sit-ups, and then running my hill right there at my house a couple times.
Sustained cardio? Is that what you're...
I don't know what you mean by that.
So there's this theory out there right now, and I think it's called sustained cardio. I could be getting that wrong, but it's not actually running. They're talking about just a brisk walk at like a 3% incline for 15 minutes. It's not even, so I'm just now researching this. I'm looking into this because I run and I really do enjoy it. But there are times where I don't have the time to put in a run and lift. And so they're talking, because when I run, I'm running between 1.5 miles and 3 miles, which I'm fat and old and slow. And so it takes me a while to do that. And I can't get that in every time. So I'm researching right now the benefits of being able to, it's a 3% incline for 10 to 15 minutes of just brisk walking. I think the pace they said was at like a 4.5 or a 5.5, something like that. And so I'm doing the research on it right now before I actually try it. But there is this new theory out. And I started looking at these videos kept popping up of people just walking on treadmills and they're talking. I'm like, what is this thing? Like everybody's doing this. So I started looking at why they were doing it. And that's why it's this new cardio routine. It's a lot easier on your joints. It's going to reduce injury and it's going to get you the cardio benefits the same way it would as if you were running hard. Now, is it going to give you the endorphin hit? I don't know. I'm doubting it. We'll have to find out.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed is the other night I was feeling really triggered and down on myself. And we had a youth skate night and I love roller skating. Oh, yeah. And I was like doing everything in my mind to get out of this event because I was just really not doing the greatest. And I had made commitments to bring other kids and I didn't want to let them down. My yes is my yes, right? And there's every once in a while I have to, for my own mental health, have to go ahead and say, you know what, it's okay every once in a while to change plans. But I really wanted to go to this and to take these kids. So I take them and I end up skating for an hour and a half straight. And I got up to like, on my little watch, up to like 170 beats per minute, which is...
That's a lot. 180 is like, yeah, that's when I'm pushing it.
When I'm really pushing it, right? And so like, I love skating, and I felt so much better afterwards. I was like, I'm so glad I came, right? And so I would like to implement things that I enjoy doing, that I enjoy being out in nature. I enjoy roller skating. And so I'm going to sit down and plan out a couple times this summer that I can go skating outside somewhere, because I love being outside. I think that's a double whammy, because you're getting fresh air and you're getting nature and all that stuff. A couple of hikes, but I am gonna commit to 3 specific days a week that I'm doing just exercise, just for the sake of doing exercise, because I don't want to do it.
Which days are those?
I don't know yet. I'll have an answer for you next week.
Or right now.
Oh my
No, I'm just
gosh.
kidding. It's fine. But next week, we expect some answers. We want to see your routine.
Okay.
And then as a good friend, Casey and I will hold you accountable, and so will all of the viewers, to make sure that you're hitting your fitness goals.
Sure. Thank you.
See,
So
we're good
excited.
friends.
We're so excited.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you love this content, let us know in the comments. And as always, we want to educate, empower, and encourage you on your mental health journey. So for the Mental Health Janitors, I'm Sergeant Q.
And I'm Doc Jess.
And we're
We're
out.
out.